now let's welcome our guest. He is a socio-political technocrat. I love that name. He is Dr. Adedayo Kayode. Good morning, Dr. Adedayo Kayode, and welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning. How
Good morning.
are you? I heard you when you were saying you don't have, you don't check time. Please, always have time to have time, all the time, to be able to contain myself.
Thank you so
Thank you
much
very
for joining
much,
us today, Dr. Kayode.
How's the protest in your area? Any protest in your area?
Yes, there have been protests everywhere. On the first and the second day, I was in Ojota before I got ill a little bit. You know, I told you I was having this stomach issue.
So sorry about that.
And since then, I've been following, thank you very much. I've been following the process. I think it's a food poison somewhere along the line, probably during the participation in the whatever, but it's okay. I've been following it, and I thought when the president now said he was going to address the nation, I just made up my mind that I don't have time to waste. So I never listened to that broadcast. I only read what he broadcasted. I was first of all furious when the son was showing anger that his father's speech leaked. I was wondering, what is his own problem? Is that an elected official?
Was it anger?
Is that an appointed official?
Because I saw his statement where he
was showing his,
where he was saying it's normal for speech to be released.
He even need not talk at this moment. He need not talk on all these issues at this moment. We don't want to hear him. Do you understand? And at the end of the day, look at the speech. Worse than watery. Worse than being watery. What were in the speech? What? Lies. And let me tell you about the lies. That you have reduced the percentage you use in servicing debt from 90 whatever to 60 whatever. Who are you deceiving? Listen, let me explain this to you. I will explain this to you. And I want listeners to get it properly. What was the exchange rate at that time? 400 naira. 400 naira. What is the exchange rate now? 1,500 plus. So tell me, how will you not have excess naira? How will you not have excess naira to be able to deal with certain things? What is it that you have produced? To what extent has our GDP improved for you to now be boasting of this? Again, look at how much money customs is now bringing in. Also because of the exchange rate.
Right. Dr.
So, why are you so boastful there?
Right. Dr. Kayode, still on this protest, right, but I'll be moving a bit from the president's speech and address. There has been conversation around some protesters, particularly in Kano State, that have been hoisting the Russian flag. In fact, police has apprehended the supposed tailor. And Russia has also come out to say, oh no, they are not a part of Nigeria's protest or whatever. Considering what has happened in Kano State in regards to this protest, we saw the looting, we saw lives lost, we saw people injured, and then this coming up again, a foreign flag being hoisted. I would like to get your reaction to all of this and where this could be headed.
Sure. Yes, I can understand the mindset of such people. Okay? You have to look at it from the angle of what happened in Niger Republic, whereby France have been holding them from development over the years. And then when they decided to release themselves from the shackles of France, and other Western wars were trying to disturb them. You remember the Wagner of Russia, they came in, okay? And Nigerians were now seeing that, listen, the Western world, through IMF and World Bank, they are even the one controlling our leaders not to allow us to breathe. I don't know whether you are following it.
Absolutely.
Not to allow us to breathe. They are now saying, listen, if this can happen in Nigeria Republic, if this can happen in Burkina Faso, now you that we recognize as the new world captain, can you please come to our rescue? That is what I thought the mindset of those people were on. At that time, they were doing that.
But that's a
Good
treasonable
enough.
act, isn't it?
Good enough. The Russian embassy came out yesterday to affirm that they are never part of that thinking. And they were not part of whatever is happening in Nigeria. But at the same time, there is no way they can stop anybody from their own fundamental human rights expression.
Which includes hoisting a foreign flag. Dr. Kayode, does that include hoisting a foreign flag, which is a treasonable act?
Okay, listen to this. Listen to this. Can Russia stop you from doing whatever you are doing in your studio there? Even if you want to, I'm not saying you can, I know you can. If you want to hoist a Russian flag there now, they will know. It is only when it has been broadcasted that they will see. So there's no way they can stop you from your intention until when they have known. So you can't blame Russia. And then you cannot blame the mindset of those people because they are looking at it from the angle of what has been happening in the past and what is happening to Nigeria presently. If not because IMF, how can IMF and World Bank be dictating to us? Look at what is happening to Dangote refinery. How can international agencies and organizations be disturbing us from having respite from this petroleum problem we are having in Nigeria? It's an issue. It is an issue.
All right, Dr.
I have 2 bags of yam at the back of my house, and somebody from another street is now trying to tell me how to deal with these 2 bags of yam behind my house that is well fenced, that has sovereignty. So what are you talking about?
All right, Dr. Adedayo Kayode, let's dig deeper. These protesters did not just wake up one day to start carrying this Russian flag. Obviously, they must have been hearing certain things. Someone is telling them things. Don't you think we need to also investigate further why they are carrying this flag, who is telling them to carry this flag, and what is their reason for hoisting or waving another country's flag?
Well, for me, I wouldn't know whether anybody is telling them anything or whether somebody is directing them from somewhere. All I know is that what they have done is a fallout or what has happened in some neighboring countries which they are not unmindful of. And to that extent, bearing in mind that the Western world, through IMF and World Bank, are doing the same thing that France did for centuries on Niger Republic. And they saw what happened in the Niger Republic. Yes. Yes. Did you not also hear them? Did you not also hear them speaking in Hausa? The military should take over. So did you not also hear them?
Are they protesting against the government
as somebody also
informed?
They were doing all these things out of frustration. We shouldn't just complicate issues. They were doing, okay. Look at the guy that was talking that you showed before the beginning of your program. Look at how he was showing is disenchantment about the government. I mean, if not because we are on air, I will have shown my disenchantment more than this. But you know, there are ethics and conduct that controls activities on radio and TV being monitored by NBC. So because I don't want it to be charged for anything, that's why I'm just trying to comport myself. Myself. All right, it's not easy. People are suffering.
How do you
and destination? Take this pump price, take it back. The tariff of electricity, take it back. And then people will be okay. Nigerians don't ask for much.
Dr. Kayode, talking about the fuel price, one thing that stood out in the president's address, is that the fuel subsidy removal was a necessity and it cannot come back. So how do we now get to, despite the protest and everything, the president stood firm on that, how do we now get to see that that fuel subsidy comes back, even as the president is insisting that it's a necessity and cannot come back?
I have proven it here on this, your program, severally, that removal of subsidy at that time was a fraud. Why am I saying this? Number one, go and check out direct supply, direct purchase policy of NNPC. Number two, at the time, petroleum PMS was selling for 190 naira. It was affirmed, not alleged, now affirmed, that NNPC was making 100 naira per gain per liter. This present 10th National Assembly equally affirmed it at the beginning of this particular assembly. So tell me, where is that subsidy that he removed to now making Nigerians to be paying as much as over 600 naira now per liter? Tell me. These are issues.
Right. Absolutely.
These are issues.
Absolutely.
Tell me again. Now, you have already borrowed over $1.5 billion for electricity from both World Bank and African Development Bank. What have you used the money for? What? Rather, you were planned to increase the tariff by how many percent? Right. Before, when you buy 10,000 naira of electricity, it will give you 150 kilowatts.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Now, 10,000 naira is giving
44 units.
Like 45 kilowatts. Now, tell me, with all the money you borrowed for this electricity, where is the impact on the people? These are issues.
Right, Dr. Kayode, you know.
Fraudulent people.
Fraudulent
people.
Just before
why will people not go and be hosting Russian flag?
Dr. Kayode, that's quite a very strong statement to make.
Yes.
But just before we go, in the president's national address, he urged the protesters to end the protest. And despite that, protesters have not listened, particularly in Lagos and in Osun State. We've seen protests still ongoing. I know they said it's going to be for a period of 10 days, which is supposed to be on Saturday, the 10th of August.
Let me quickly ask you before you continue. Sorry, let me quickly ask you. When a child is hungry and a child is crying, and you are telling the child to keep quiet, and you are not giving the child food, will the child stop crying?
Dr. Kayode, to answer your question, I'll take you to this question. Now that the protesters have not listened to the president and they are still protesting, what should we expect? Because it seems as though the president has given his point and it's as though the protesters are doing their own thing. So in about 1 minute, just before we go, what should we expect in the next few days?
Well, the protesters have said, "Aluta continua, Victoria Asata." The struggle continues until victory is attained. So, what again do you want to expect? Nothing more. Not until when victory is being attained. And what is that victory?
Dr. Kayode,
what is that victory?
Dr. Kayode, please.
We lost the call. We lost the call.
All right.
We want to get satisfied.
Right. You know, we had a
I'm hearing you, sir.
We had a caller that wanted to, you know, contribute on this, but we actually lost the call. But do well to call us back 0812-182-0154. You know.
All right, Dr. Kayode.
So what I'm saying in essence is this: not until the demands of we Nigerians are being given. And what are these demands? One, push back the price of pump price, because we are all aware that subsidy you are talking about is nothing other than fraud. Two, stop importation of petroleum products. Now that we have even resolved to be going to Malta, and we have been given information as regards the owners of the refinery in Malta,
based on allegation,
start giving Dangote enough crude
Dr. Kayode, please hold that thought. Please hold that
for us in this country.
Dr. Kayode, please hold that
price.
We have Kayode, Imam from Kogi. Good morning, Kayode.
Kogi. Thank you.
You're welcome. Please, less than a minute.
My contribution is that I want to ask our leaders. They are traveling abroad. I think traveling, they say it's an education. They travel abroad, they see what is happening there, they see the kind of the hospital, that in terms of healthcare, they see how they produce their food, they see their factories and other things. Is this not a good lesson for them when they come back to this country?
Right. That's $1 billion question there. Thank you, Makinde, for calling
fuel
us.
subsidy and coal. Then what's the impact of this on the citizenry, on Nigerians?
Right. Then
the issue of the protest. Now the government, most especially Mr. President, has to address the core issues, not dribbling the citizens. Okay. We are all morally sound and intellectual. Not speaking English is just giving us a foul speech or so.
All right, we have to let you go now, Makinde. Thank you. Thank you so much for calling us today. Thank you. You know, we don't have the luxury of time because we need to, you know, wrap up with Adedayo Kayode and also go into the next segment. Dr. Kayode, please land on your thoughts in 30 seconds because we have to wrap up this segment.
I've always been saying it. A people must emancipate themselves from the claws of wicked, Machiavellian leaders, or else they will be perpetually emancipated. And that is exactly what is happening now. Nigerians have realized this, that they got to emancipate themselves. And not until when they are emancipated, I am sure the struggle continues.
Right, a safe place to land, I must say. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Dr. Adedayo Kayode, a sociopolitical technocrat, and for sharing your thoughts with us this morning. It's been a delight.
It's my pleasure having me this morning. Enjoy the rest of your day.
And you too. Bye.